Hello, this is Yaakov Kronenberg from Jerusalem, and tonight we'll be doing the second class in a series of classes on Capricorn ascendant and Saturn in the different signs. Tonight we'll be doing Saturn in Virgo. It's an interesting combination. It makes double Earth, right? Because Saturn, the ruling, the ascendant is Capricorn, which is earthy. Saturn by nature is Earth, like we've been learning in the classes of light of the eyes, as Saturn rules the element of Earth. And it's found in an Earth sign, Virgo. So it's going to make a person a little bit cold, a little bit laid back, a little bit cold by nature, a little bit restrained. And a person who's got the Saturn in Virgo, it's going to fall in the ninth house as a general rule. And so when it falls in the ninth house, that means the Capricorn nature, this career drive, is going to emphasize itself in the career. Right, the ninth house, right, the Capricorn wants the career, the ascendant, and when it's in the ninth house, that's the area of life that he's going to try to fulfill himself in. So, as usually it's when Saturn is in Virgo, falls in the ninth house, which is law, religion, philosophy, higher education, travel. All those fields are very important for someone who's got their ruling planet in the ninth house. And it's going to be a person who takes ninth house matters very seriously, right? It's not going to be a person who has a light approach to life, because Saturn is a heavy planet. Remember, Saturn is the planet of old age, and it rules the last years of life, and it understands what sorrow is and difficulty is, and it sees life as a challenge more than as a game. As suffering more than pleasure. So the Saturn's got a very, strict approach to life, a very serious approach to life. So that's a combination with all that Earth there, especially where it's going to be very, very, a very, very serious approach to life. Let's take a look at I have a chart here in my collection of charts. There's a very famous man in America. Well, he passed away already, but he was, I don't remember the years he lived, but he was, I guess in the 70s, 80s, he was still on the Supreme Court. He was actually the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of America. His name was Earl Warren. And he was probably the most famous judge in America at that time. And I think he also held political office at a certain time in his life before that. And but if you look at his chart, again, he got that ruling planet in the ninth house, the house of law. Right? You see, it's a very serious combination, so it's not so much, you wouldn't say that's a person who's going to travel or so much. I mean, it could be maybe he was a law professor also, for all I know. I don't remember. But in any case, that Saturn there in the ninth house, it rules his ascendant, and so it becomes very important because the ruler is the ascendant and being found in the ninth. And it's just, its 10th house cusp in his chart is Scorpio. The very, very beginning of Scorpio, so it could be if he was born a little bit earlier, a minute or two earlier, he'd be even a Libra. If he had Libra on the 10th house cusp, then it would also be connected, the Saturn, to the 10th house, to the career more strongly. Because Saturn is, exaltation in Libra. But in any case, if you say even if his midheaven, let's say, is in Scorpio, that makes the ruler of his midheaven Mars. Mars is in Taurus, which is also an earth sign. So you see, the man is very, very earthy. And if you look at his chart, he's got Saturn in the 9th house, which again, the two intellectual houses are 3 and 9, the two most intellectual houses. The houses of learning. So he's got his ruling planet in the house of learning. The 9th house, higher education. He's got two planets, Mercury and the Sun, in the 3rd house. Also the planet of sign of house of education in Pisces. And Pisces and Virgo are both connected to intellectual planets. Virgo rules Mercury. Right? So that connects Saturn to Mercury. Right, and Mercury is the dispositor of Saturn in his chart, and Mercury is very tight conjunction to the Sun. So you see, he's going to make his mark in a person who has a tendency to become famous. You always have to look at the secondary dispositor. In other words, the dispositor of the ruling planet is very important. And so you see in his chart, he's got very powerful 9th house influences, and so it's a very, very intellectual type of chart, very studious type of person. It's a good chart. I also, now come to think of it, I also have Capricorn rising with Saturn and Virgo. In my chart, the chart is a little bit distorted, so Saturn falls instead of the 9th house, it falls in the 8th house. In a situation like that, my teacher used to say, Saturn is connected with both houses, with the 8th and the 9th. And you have to use your intuition, which one seems stronger. Or, sometimes you can say the 8th is more prevalent, sometimes the 9th, sometimes you combine the two. It's a call you have to make, In my chart, I know I got both. I feel both the 8th and the 9th house. I know I've always been interested in, 8th house affairs, Kabbalah, astrology, all of those, those are 8th house affairs to understand the secrets. Scorpio rules the secrets. And I also had Scorpio in the 10th house cusp. So there's going to be a big interest in mysticism, Kabbalah, astrology, all sorts of things like that, and also the interest in the 9th house. I remember from a young age, all I thought of, dreamed about was leaving America and going off to distant lands. And I guess I've been in Israel now. I left America in my 20s, and I've been here about 35 years. And so, I feel naturally attracted to the foreign country. And so that's also important in my chart, so both of those things. And again, I take also life very seriously. I don't, life is a serious business. So that's always Saturn in the 9th, the philosophy, tells you a little about the person's philosophy also. That the person's going to be, very serious philosophy. You'll have teachers who are very strict, very serious also, pushing him to learn. And so all of those things you have to pay attention to, right? And just like, and in my chart I have, so I think that's enough for tonight. We got an idea of how Capricorn ascendant with Saturn and Virgo works, and I thank everybody for listening.